Hey, all the gym bros and other people, stop neglecting cardio. Heart is a muscle, and like every other muscle, you can train it by doing cardio mainly. So, why would you neglect this muscle, especially if you're muscular? Cardio is good for everyone, and so it is really worth it to dedicate like a solid 30 minutes a day to doing cardio. It might not get you bigger, but for sure it will extend your lifespan by probably 20 years, 15, 20 years. And when you're old, you won't be just so stiff and incapable. And you'll be able to walk on your own. Imagine like setting a goal like this for 60, 60 years later, that you can still walk by yourself, or you can even like run by yourself. Think about that. Maybe you should set a goal like that for just longevity, because would you really want to still live when you're like 75 and have to be helped to just walk? Of course not. Then life would be really fucking miserable when you can't do anything and you just rely on other people. So remember, do your cardio. And why, especially if you're a bodybuilder, if you're muscular, it is because your muscles. Well, it is because the bigger your muscles are, the more oxygen they need when you're doing some kind of activity, especially cardio. And you can improve your heart's efficiency by doing cardio. What? Yeah. And another benefit of doing cardio, but it's the only more intense cardio, is that it is easy to sweat. And when you sweat, your body is like basically getting rid of the bad things in your system. Like that was really uh, a simpleton way, a simpleton way to describe this process, but it's basically how it works. So an additional advantage of doing cardio is when you're on a bulk and you want to eat more and you need to eat more. Cardio increases your appetite. Yes, it does burn calories, so you need to eat a bit more, but your appetite is also going to be higher. And burning calories when you're on a cut. Actually, I'm on a cut right now. And I do probably an hour or even more of cardio every day, because the thing is, I want to like eat a bit more, right? And when I eat too much, then I can just do the cardio a bit more so I can burn off these excessive calories. And by that time, it is the evening and I'm about to go to sleep, so I'm just not eating. And it really makes no sense to not do cardio. And for sure, you have at least some free time in the day. So why not do cardio in that time? And cardio doesn't have to be difficult. You can really walk like an hour a day, and it will be, maybe it will not be enough, but it is infinitely better than not doing cardio at all. So now I'll just mention some examples of what cardio you could do. So running, walking, cycling, basketball, boxing, any kind of martial arts are good for training your cardio. Parkour, right? You'd actually be surprised how much parkour requires cardio. So my favorite kind of cardio is HIIT. So it's HIIT, which stands for high intensity interval training. And you might be thinking like, oh, what the fuck is that? That sounds so complex. And it only sounds complex, but it's pretty easy to understand. So basically, you can take any form of cardio, but it's easiest with like running, cycling, boxing. And the thing is, you don't just do it at the same pace for the whole time, but for about 30 seconds to a minute, you just do like low pace that you could sustain for probably like an hour. Okay, so you do low pace, low intensity for like a minute, and after a minute you go all in, like very high intensity for as well, like 30 or 30 seconds to a minute. We can do longer intervals, but that's what I prefer, right? And however many intervals you want to do, you can. So, like 1 minute low intensity, 1 minute high intensity is like one set, one interval. And my favorite form of cardio to do this with is running. So I'll give you not an example. I'll tell you what I do as HIIT cardio. So I'm running, right? So I run around 6 kilometers an hour. So pretty sustainable pace for a minute, and then I basically sprint. So maybe not like all in, but high intensity. So 15 kilometers an hour, maybe 18 for for like 30 seconds. And I just repeat that a couple of times. if I really just can't keep running at all, then I take like an actual rest for like 10 minutes and I go again. And I probably do about 10 intervals, stuff or something like that. So that's it. Do your cardio.